Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Anything for my princess.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
You make a movie about the band Alabama?
Exactly. I'd watch that 5 times.
I'd watch it -5 times.
Have the band
how
star
are you
in it.
doing? This is Isaac Anderson.
I am Tyler.
Welcome to Big Bang Cinema. This is a show where we talk about movie news.
Movie reviews.
And everything in between. And unfortunately, Mr. Christopher Darkins could not be here today. We wish him the best.
And God rest his soul.
No, he's still alive, man. So hopefully he'll be back next episode. But this coming season, this is actually the season finale of Big Bang Cinema. Are you excited?
Oh.
No? Okay. All 4 people watching. That's great. But anyway, yeah, I think he might be back for one more episode before our next season kind of really gets into swing. But after that, he will not be in attendance. So if he's here next episode, make sure you leave some comments to give him some love. But Tyler, how you doing, man?
I'm tired.
Tired?
Tired of all the bad movies this year.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the show. But first up, I wanted to talk about the Aladdin photos that just came out in Entertainment Weekly. So Aladdin, as most of you know, it's the 90s Disney film that was all the rage back when it came out. And now they want money, so they're rebooting it with a bunch of stars. So, and here's Will Smith as Genie.
Will he be blue?
He will be blue, apparently.
Okay, I'm up for that. Why isn't it Robin Williams?
I don't think it would work
Like
with
voicing over Will Smith.
I don't think
from the original film, like they piece together like they do.
I don't think they can do that.
They should do that.
Yeah, well, they haven't already. It's going to be Fresh Prince of Abu Dhabi.
Will this also be banned in, you think, the Middle East?
Why would it be banned in the Middle East?
The first one was.
That's odd. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, this one also has Nassim Pedrad, Naomi Scott in it too. A lot of big stars up here. Tyler, what do you think of these photos?
I'm up for this.
Oh yeah?
Oh snap! It's got a monkey in it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a boo.
Well, oh my gosh! I'm sorry. I mean, it looks
like, it looks a little creepy. I have to say, it looks a little human-like, and it creeps me out a bit. But I don't know. As far as the sets and everything go, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. Personally, I think it's just going to be a total soft reboot of the first one. Maybe they'll throw a few new songs in there. Disney's not known for kind of going out of the balance and trying to do all these little crazy things with their story. But I don't know, Tyler, what do you think it's going to be any sort of different than the first one? Or?
I think it's going to be a lot different, especially given like the whole political climate of the Middle East. It might reflect into the...
Well, I mean, it takes place in the same time period as, as the other one.
Yeah, so I think it's going to have like the whole reflecting the political climate. Like I think there's going to be like some bad stuff going on, and you're going to have like reflected from like the whole, I don't know, the war, and you know how Disney does.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of good fun and everything. I like all the costumes and everything. The sets look really cool. Hopefully they don't smap it with just a ton of unnecessarily CGI, but they're probably going to.
It should be straight up in Arabic, and we have to read subtitles.
That would be kind of interesting, but probably not going to happen. But yeah, I liked it. Tyler, any last thoughts on this? Yeah, here's the photo of all of them together.
I'm just hoping Jaden Smith's not going to be in it.
I think Jaden Smith's off ruining Twitter.
All right,
Speaking of off ruining Twitter, Deadwood, the show that you watched back when you were in high school, and now you're well out of college with the family.
What do you mean high school?
High school?
What do you mean? I was in middle school when that came out.
Well, a lot of people are in high school, and I wasn't.
Gosh, what is it?
I was probably in elementary school.
Circa 2001, 2002?
It was the early 2000s, mid-2000s. Deadwood, the HBO show, is getting a movie, is basically what I'm trying to say. So, Tyler, did you ever watch this show?
I saw a few episodes. I know that Timothy Olyphant's in it and Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen's in it?
Not Ian McKellen, the other one, the other Ian.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of Ians in Hollywood.
Oh my gosh, Ian, I don't remember.
Okay, well anyway, they're making a movie about it, and it's about 12 years after the show actually went off of air. Here's David Milch, the guy that created Deadwood. For people that don't know, what's Deadwood about?
It's about the town of Deadwood, the historical town of Deadwood.
Okay.
It's Western. A lot of shootings, a lot of whoring going on in the houses, for the what's it called, the saloons and parlors, and it's your typical like Western,
your old West kind of thing.
But it was really your first real big gritty. I mean, you've had gritty western, but this was like hyper realistic western. I mean, it was one of those things that if they shown this back in the big swing of the western films, this movie would have been banned. I mean, it was a film series, but it would not have been shown.
It was that much.
It is not. This is not the Virginian. This is not Gunsmoke, man. This was straight up hardcore.
Oh, this was like realistic,
realistic,
gritty western. This is like one of the first ones that kind of did that then. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I mean, straight up like hard R, man. This is hard. Well, this is a hard TVMA, but it was HBO. This is HBO,
so they can they have free reign to do pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. Everybody's like, I want to go back and go to Tombstone and Dead would be a gunslinger. You're watching this like, I don't want to be there.
No,
good gosh,
you die of dysentery like in 3 days.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I didn't live during that
you
time.
get shot just by saying, hey, how you doing, Carl? How dare you talk to my friend like that? And you get shot in the face,
Yeah, you're like, why'd you shoot him? He looked at me funny. All right, it's stand your ground, sir.
But what do you think about it being this long since they're making a movie?
A lot of people can be like, Deadwood?
I was like that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, because that's the problem is it's been too long.
Okay. Well,
the steam train is gone. Literally, the steam train is gone.
It really that as the words of Jim Carrey, that train has sailed.
Yeah, train has sailed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as far as them making a movie, how do you think they could improve upon the the series in and of itself with the film format? Or do you think it'll add anything to it?
No, I won't really add anything to it. I mean, like I said, it was really well-made HBO television series.
So, I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. I'll see it.
But it'll be better as like a mini-series rather than a movie.
Well, that's basically what it was. So, moving on. Yeah, Tyler, I don't know if you've seen this next one up here. Hellboy just came out with a new trailer. David Harbour stars in it. And I think we're going to play it right behind us.
What?
Because it's very interesting. So in case you don't know, Hellboy is getting rebooted. It's already been rebooted with David Harbour, the guy that you recognize from that show that he was on the Netflix that you really liked, and he played a police officer. You know him if you saw him.
The Get Down.
Remember the Get Down? I don't either.
That totally failed.
Oh yeah, more like the Get Off,
Yeah, get off Netflix. That's what happened too.
Oh, now you wonder where Jaden Smith went.
Oh yeah, he's gone, dude. He's gone.
Okay. But, yeah, so this is a new movie, and Mila Djokovic also stars as the Blood Queen or something like that. She always plays these schlocky characters. So Tyler, have you seen this trailer?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I guess I can go over what I kind of thought about this trailer.
Oh snap! Oh yeah, because I used to read the comic books. That dude turns into like a jaguar.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm pumped up for this now. My only question is, the original series had the whole the comic series had the Mike Mignola. If you read Mike Mignola, he's pretty out there, but he's just as out there as Del Toro. So Del Toro could really, it's like their styles really match together. So that was, I mean,
this one doesn't have Del Toro on it though.
I mean, because the other one had the Del Toro charm.
Yeah. So I mean, this one after watching the trailer, I don't know. I felt like it was a little bit too like the quirky, like self-referential, like we're silly and we know what's going on. We know it's stupid, but we're still gonna let you know about it. Like you either pick one. You gotta do completely self-referential and everything, which is not my thing, or you gotta go completely straight. And I feel like this one's gonna be a total nightmare of both.
What's that? Baba Yaga's in it too.
Who's that?
Baba Yaga.
No idea.
See, my problem is one of the defining qualities of the original Hellboy is that he had goat feet. He has no goat feet in this, sir. His legs were disproportionately shorter than his body.
Oh wow!
He had little goat legs. He walked around. It was great, but.
Well, as far as the trailer goes, what are you thinking about it? Look at that.
It was pretty cool. I can see it's really channeling the original. Also,
David Harbour as I don't know if I like what I've seen of the trailer so far. It's not really my thing. Yeah, this is David Harbour, by the way. And I don't know. I'm so accustomed to hearing Ron Perlman as that character. It's hard to hear anybody else. It kind of almost sounds like David Harbour's going to be sick when he's talking as Hellboy, like something he's about to throw up or something like that. And it felt a little bit like, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I don't know. I know you didn't hear his voice, but when you hear his voice, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yes. Well,
any final thoughts on this?
I want to see the plethora of famous characters that I loved from the original Hellboy series. I actually want to see them make it to the big screen.
Maybe not. Maybe so. Okay. Well, time for our last movie topic, which is
MIB.
the MIB International trailer. It actually just came out a few hours ago.
What? I know different. I have not seen it then.
So, MIB International is going to be starring Tessa Thompson and Mr. Chris Hemsworth from
from
Thor
Thor.
Ragnarok and all the other Thor movies. But they were in Thor Ragnarok together. They had good chemistry, and they're like, hey, we can market that. So here's a movie that's a lot like the movie that you had another dynamic quite like that. So, Tyler, what do you think about making MIB International, period?
It could go either way.
Okay. Well,
you remember what made the other Men in Black movies do really well was the combination of Will Smith and, I mean, it was just
Tommy Lee?
I mean, no, it was just everybody. The entire cast. You know, you had Rip Torn. It was just
Yeah, this
great.
time we got Liam Neeson, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was the whole dynamic between the characters because they're like, everybody's a polar opposite.
Yeah, and I mean, I like, well, Barry Sonnenfeld directed those guys.
Barry Sonnenfeld.
Whatever.
Sonnenfeld.
Okay. Yeah, let's just call him Barry.
Barry.
Okay. Barry directed those movies. I thought he did a really good job, and like you said, the dynamics were really great on those. I like the chemistry in this trailer for Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. I really like the way they do things together. I like the fact that they're kind of expanding the world. We're not just going to like America. We're going all across the world and everything. I hope it doesn't get like super big. We're like massive. We're huge. We're going everywhere. And then that kind of gets stupid and it kind of loses me because it becomes like a big old uncanny valley effect. You know, I get we can do anything with computers and do anything with CGI, but like when it comes to a point of like everything's getting crazy. Look, the whole world's exploding. Now the Golden Gate Bridge is getting sucked up in a tornado. Isn't that crazy? Like. That stuff gets like really like
old fast.
It gets very like it gets stale, you know. You know it's not real. You're not invested, you know. And granted, the first one had CGI in and everything. That's not the problem. The problem I think is going to be if they just go too big and too fast. I just want to get these characters. I imagine it's going to be almost exactly like the first one, except this time Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth and Liam Neeson are in it. But I don't know. What do you think?
I'll probably end up watching it.
Okay, but what do you think of like the two characters, the dynamics between the two characters?
I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I hope it's going to go pretty well. I enjoyed it in Thor Ragnarok. If they carry it over, I'll watch it. Okay, well, guys, that's going to do it for movie news. If you guys have any comments or questions you want to leave us, you can leave us a comment right here at facebook.com/studio67ntc. Love to hear what you guys have to say. So, coming up after the break, we're going to spend a good hefty amount of time talking about our favorite movies of 2018 and some of the worst. Stay with us.
When it comes to culinary arts, Nash Community College is here to turn your burning passion for food into a career. Our chefs, with over 70 years of highly qualified industry experience, are here to point you in the right direction, teaching and handing down classical culinary techniques that will improve your skills and help you cut your way into the food industry. Gain invaluable experience, vital to cooking and preparing delicious food, served in a personal and creative environment. To learn more about the Culinary Arts program, visit nashcc.edu.
What motivates me to come to Nash every day are our students. Everything they bring to the table, from their personalities to their work ethics. I think we can learn from our students just as much as they can learn from us.
Oh, wow. How amazing. Guys, welcome back to Big Bang Cinema. My name's Isaac Anderson.
I'm Tyler.
That was a beautiful man on that screen, wasn't it? Not you, the
Oh.
other guy with the beard. But guys, we appreciate all that you guys that watch us, all 4 of you, 5 of you, maybe 6 of you. And we just wanted to let you know what we liked and what we didn't like this year. Tyler?
Well, okay, well, I did have a big problem with this. Like, I mean, there was some movies I liked this year, but I can't spend 20 hours talking about the movies I didn't like.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite. So, Tyler, why don't you go ahead and start? What was one of your favorite movies of the year?
I would say Infinity War. It went beyond from being a movie to being an event. It was one of the movies this year where everybody was asking, did you see Infinity War? I guarantee every person at some point this year was asked that. by someone. Did you see Infinity War
Well,
yet?
if you didn't see Infinity War, like you're not going to. You know what I mean?
That's the problem. If you didn't see it, it's because you're boycotting it.
Yeah, you're trying to avoid it.
Try not to see it. I would say it went from being one of the biggest having one of the biggest memes of the year to being. I mean, even someone said like when you drop half your followers, you're Thanos and everybody. I mean, it even became a verb. The villain. I mean, I'd say it's probably one of the best villain of this year was Thanos. And it's really hard to figure out who you're going to root for when your villain has the most sound logic of any character in the whole movie.
That's what really grounded him for me, is like the fact that he actually, like the stuff he was saying actually kind of made sense in a really sick and twisted way.
Yeah.
Like you kind of felt for Thanos at the same way, but in the same way you hated him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I really like that.
And he was like really sympathetic because he doesn't even want to do it, but he feels like he has to do it. He feels like he's the good guy, he's saving the universe.
Yeah, it's like his burden that he had to bear.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't want to do it. He really didn't. That just made it fantastically great. Especially, I mean, you saw a full range of emotions off this guy.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's definitely one. One of my personal favorites was a movie I don't know if a whole lot of people even saw. I don't even know if you saw it.
Nick in it.
Mr. Nicolas Cage was in it. It was a movie called Mandy. Mandy was a really interesting film. In short, remember the comic Heavy Metal?
Yes.
Imagine that mixed with like some like mind-tripping drugs
Space
and Nicolas
nudity.
Cage.
Space nudity.
Sort of.
Oh.
Like the art style and whatnot, you know, and just a bunch of kind of like schlock B movies and extremely good direction, and drop Nicolas Cage in the middle of it. Then you get Mandy. Mandy kind of revolves around Nicolas Cage and his wife. His wife gets captured by a bunch of like these kind of nuts, like these drug nuts, and she gets murdered. And Nicolas Cage is basically going on a revenge rampage. And it's like a simple plot, but it is such, you know, it's a lot more than that. Like, the first part of the movie is very kind of slow. It's atmospheric. It's kind of got this beautiful cinematography and beautiful shots in there, and a really awesome performance by Nicolas Cage. There's a really awesome scene in this movie where, spoiler alert. I know it's not really a spoiler for the movie because I mean, you know what happens. This is the plot of the movie. His wife basically gets burned alive in front of him by the cult leader, and they leave her there, and like her ashes are sitting there, and he goes into the bathroom. And he like starts screaming and everything. He's like drinking a whole bottle of vodka, and he's like just screaming all around the bathroom. And you could tell like the camera was trying to follow him. Like this was completely improvisational kind of thing. They didn't know where he was going to go.
How much he didn't know they were in there filming him?
That's kind of how I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, the whole movie is kind of like that. It's full of like all these amazing shots. There's an amazing chainsaw fight that he has with another guy because there's all these like masked dudes in there. That was really weird. It was like part fantasy, part like, you know, serious drama, part atmospheric art piece. It was really awesome. And it was also amazing practical effects in there too. There's one part at the very end that he like, spoilers for Mandy in case you haven't seen it, where he literally smashes a guy's head in, and it's a real physical effect. It felt very 80s almost, kind of like how physical it was, but like he squashes a guy's head. It's kind of like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where his eyes kind of like liquefy and they go out. And it was just it was beautiful scenery. At the very end, can we pull up the picture of Nicolas Cage, like his face full of blood and everything, just smiling at the camera? Yeah, like imagine that, but a whole movie of that. And yeah, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's not so strong on the story, but it was just, if you want to see a movie that like is genuinely beautiful to look at and is entertaining, Mandy was definitely that one for me. So it's very well directed.
He's doing the you don't say face.
You don't say.
You don't say.
Okay, Tyler, what was another one of your favorite movies this year?
I would say Deadpool 2.
Okay.
It wasn't one of the best made, but like I said, it was another big movie event. Everybody saying, "Have you seen Deadpool 2?" I mean, I saw it so much revolved around this. It was another meme-tastic film. I mean, another movie starring Josh Brolin. And it was the sequel to the big, massive hit of Deadpool, the first one. And it's so big, they're re-releasing this for a PG-13 rating and having him read the story to Fred Savage, ripping off of The Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's Once Upon a Deadpool, it's going to be called, too.
Once Upon a Deadpool, and he's going to be riding a unicorn in it, too.
That's going to be pretty fun.
It's wild, it's out there, it's funny, and it was most of it was improv.
Yeah, so, did you think it was better than the first one?
No.
No? Why not?
Because I feel like a lot of the first one is, the first one, you could tell it was stuff they built up for years to kind of throw all the funny stuff in there, and some of this was kind of jokes they had from the first one. You know, some of the same quips and stuff. But to me, about the first one is you didn't know where it was going until you actually saw it. So this one, you know, you're watching, you've seen the first one, you know how this is going to roll. But you sit in the theater for the first time, watch that guy get liquefied against the sign. You're like, did that just happen?
It is a lot of funny things, and especially when Deadpool kind of loses his powers and he jumps off in the prison, and like his whole body like that makes me laugh every single time.
I love he breaks it's breaking the fourth wall but making it hilarious at the same time.
Oh yeah, and Josh Brolin's great as Cable and everything.
It really gets to he'll break the first wall, but I was like, what are you talking about?
And so that's definitely one that I enjoyed too. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. One of my other favorites, and also there's a quick flicks coming up later this week for it, is a movie called Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, which is a little bit more of a serious movie than the other ones we talked about. It's a lot different too. It's much more of an art piece than anything else. So, without getting too far into it, Roma is it follows a maid in the early 1970s Mexico City, and it's kind of just a year through her life. And it's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, like I just said, who also directed my favorite movie of all time, Children of Men. He also directed Prisoner of Azkaban, the Harry Potter movie. He directed Gravity. He's an amazing, amazing director. And this one, it was really like I know you said you watched part of it. You said you thought it was kind of boring. Yeah. And I get it.
Kind of messed up too.
But it was, to me, it was just really emotional, heartbreaking too, because it felt so real. And it stayed with me a lot after I saw it.
It wasn't in English.
It was not in English, no. It felt very authentic. You know, Alfonso Cuarón, he's from there, you know? So, I mean...
He's from where?
Mexico, right?
Which part of Mexico?
I don't know what part of Mexico. I'm not that smart.
You said there, like you general direction.
He's from... Well, it's in Mexico, you know what I mean? So, I mean, this felt like he said he wanted to kind of invoke memory, but not nostalgic memory. And it wasn't like, you know, look, it's 70s. Listen to this. Look, the Beatles. Blah, 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 blah. Look, all the things you recognize from the 70s. And there was a little bit of stuff like that, but it wasn't in your face. It took its time, and it was...
Are you sure this was the 70s? Because it was like modern-day Mexico.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was not meant to...
So it was just modern-day Mexico without cell phones.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't look like, they didn't try to like play up like everyone's got like the groovy things going on. Like it wasn't all that. I appreciated that. And there's a scene I talked about in Quick Flicks. I can go a little bit deeper in here now. She's sitting there, and spoiler alerts for Roma, by the way. But I think I should talk about this because it really is powerful. There's a scene where she's pregnant in the movie, and she loses her child, and the father of her child doesn't want anything to do with her anymore, and she takes care of these kids for this family, and she rescues them because they're about to drown. And she just sits there on the beach saying, "I didn't want the baby to begin with, but I didn't want it to die." And she just sits there and crying. And the whole family embraces her. That felt like so emotionally like wrenching to me. Like it is, and the whole movie was leading up to that. That's the only thing that really majorly happens in the movie. But that's why it was my favorite, just because it stayed with me on that level, and it had those powerful scenes, and it didn't rush through it. And I think it's probably going to win some Oscars this year. Mm-hmm. So Tyler, lastly. I think we both had the same last movie that we really enjoyed. So on the count of three. So 1, 2, 3. Upgrade. Upgrade was pretty amazing.
It was pretty neat. The perfect combination of body horror and comedy.
Yeah, so in case you've never seen Upgrade, Upgrade basically revolves around like a guy gets into a car crash, he gets paralyzed, his wife dies, and he volunteers himself for like an experimental scientific experiment where he can like start walking again. Very schlocky. It's like very B-movie-esque. It's like it felt like a really good B-movie. And basically the computer in him that helps him walk can also help him like fight and stuff like that, and he gets caught up in this crime thing. It's a fantastic film. Yeah. I loved it.
Especially everybody remembers about this is when he's in the guy's house and he gets attacked. He's like he says the chip was fighting for him. He's begging the guy, please just quit, just stop, please stop. And he's just like beating, and he's just tearing this guy up. Yeah, he's not in control of his body.
He's kind of reluctant, but he's like perfectly going and everything. Like that took a lot to perform that too. Like he's like, oh, I don't want to do this, but he's like perfectly executing all the moves and everything. Kudos to that guy. Whoever choreographed that was amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, it's also like, you know, that could have been like totally schlock. It looked like it could have been so cheap. It could have been like a canon film or something like that.
I think it was one cut too. The whole fight scene was one cut.
Well, no, they edited it together like it was one cut. I could tell. That was the one part of it I didn't like. Some of the shots look a little bit like too weird, and that might be being too nitpicky. But I don't know. That was one of my favorite ones. It was enjoyable. It was funny. It was engaging. It was just a cool concept. That could have been a complete schlockfest. But I don't know. Tyler, I know we don't really have any down, but what movies did you not like this year?
Too many to count. First of all was Fantastic Beasts. It wasn't the movies I hated, it was the most disappointing films.
Oh, yeah?
But I'd say that my number one, there's a lot, but the one that really takes the big crown of this is probably Venom.
I agree with that. Venom is not a very good movie. I'm sure we've seen worse this year, but Venom is the one that sticks out mostly to me that really was a stinker in the pile.
See, they were riding high off the Spider-Man film they had made with the Homecoming. So everybody's like, oh, this is going to be just like Homecoming. It's going to be a great Spider-Man-esque film. And then you hear some production details. You're like, oh, this doesn't sound too good. But it's still riding high. Everybody says it's going to be Sony's big break. And you find out Marvel's not behind this. And you're like, ah.
It's an association with Marvel, Tyler. They made sure to say that. An association with Marvel. They was like,
And then the night before the premiere, you had, I would say he tranked it. I would have to say Tom Hardy tranked it.
Tom Hardy put out a tweet that said that they cut out the best parts in the movie and they replaced it with a bunch of crap.
Yeah, and so you're like, oh no, this doesn't sound good, and you go and you watch it, and you think you're getting a Spider-Man film, but you're getting a 2001
it felt
solo.
very dated.
Very dated. Even to me, the music in it was dated.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to get pop music, but it was like pop music from 20 years ago.
Gosh, it was not good, and bad plot line, bad story. Tom Hardy tried to carry this entire movie on his shoulders. The effects were all right. They're not great, but all right. Generic villain. It was probably the most generic villain I've seen in a while. It was like, I am evil because I'm rich. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't really happen until, the last 20 minutes in the movie.
And a lot plot holes. This movie was Swiss cheese.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can watch a review on that online somewhere. But basically, that's kind of the gist of what we thought of this year. It was all right. And a few really good ones. It wasn't the most memorable movie year, but who knows? Next year might be good. And we might actually start it out with something that I didn't think was going to be very good at all, but it's getting great reviews. It's Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman.
So we're going to take a break for the next 2 weeks. So the school's going to be closed here, so no Big Bang Cinema next week or the week after that. But the week after that, guess what? We're back.
Oh,
and we're going to be reviewing Aquaman when we come back. And a lot of cool movie topics and whatnot, so make sure you share it with your friends. You can leave a comment, and you can like facebook.com/Stu67NTC to never miss one of these.
Chris, what was your favorite movie this year?
Yeah, Chris, if you're watching. We miss you, buddy. Hunter, if you're watching too, where'd you go?
Yeah, where did he go? I was going to ask him that because I keep coming here thinking it's going to be the day he's going to be sitting in that chair, but he's not.
Who knows? He's in a better place, getting money at his job.
God rest his soul.
Guys, thank you so much for watching so far. We really do appreciate all you guys watching. You guys have a happy holiday season and a happy new year. My name is Isaac Anderson.
Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy New Year, happy winter solstice.
Happy Festivus.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm Isaac Anderson.
I'm Tyler.
Stay lovely. Have a happy new year.